Welcome again to Joe Stunner Boxing. I hope your week is going well. Mine's not doing too badly. And of course, at the end of the week, on Saturday, or, well, actually in the UK, it's the early hours of Sunday, we're going to be seeing Devin Haney, the undisputed lightweight champion of the world, taking on VASYL Lomachenko. Terrific fight, terrific matchup, very contrasting fighters, but both extremely good at what they do. So let's do a little bit of study and a bit of prediction. I'm not going to go through both their records, because I'm sure you know about both these fighters. But recently, of course, we've seen Devin Haney, 24 years of age, so he's still remarkably young. He went over twice to Australia and ripped the belts off George Kambosos. Kambosos coming off the Teofimo Lopez win, epic win, fantastic upset. All credit to Kambosos, by the way, just as an aside, because, he could have gone back to Australia and made a few defences just to sort of pad his financial account and, pad his record maybe. But no. He went looking for the best. He's a true warrior, Kambosos. Got a lot of time for him. Took on Haney twice, and they were conclusive victories for Devin Haney. A very big lightweight. Surely he can't be at lightweight for much longer. But yeah, 24 years of age, he's going to start filling out a bit, I guess. And his record at the moment, Haney, 29 wins, only 15 KOs, which suggests that he hasn't got a great deal of one-punch pop, but he does like to box. He's a boxer, and he's got enough power to keep things respectable, to keep you on the end of it. Just a very, very good fighter. Beat the living tar out of poor old Kambosos on both occasions, really. Certainly the second occasion, but Kambosos, what a warrior, took it. And now he takes on, shall we going to call him the greatest amateur of all time? One of the top 2 or 3, probably, VASYL Lomachenko, who is now, I think, 35. And whatever you say about Lomachenko, the one thing you can't say, as far as I'm concerned, is that he's ever been a lightweight. I mean, to me, I don't know whether he can make featherweight. That might be a push, but he could certainly make super featherweight. And when you see him standing next to Haney, what is there, 3 or 4 inches difference in height? But Haney looks so much bigger. Lomachenko, right now, is 35, so he's knocking on a bit. As you get older, it becomes more difficult to take off the weight. Your body takes longer to recover than it did do. Lomachenko's had recent history of some injuries, some operations, mainly to his shoulder. Since losing to Teofimo Lopez back in October 2020, he beat Nakatani, stopped him in the 9th round. Good performance that was. Then he knocked down Richard Comey, I think it was in the 7th, and outpointed him over 12. And then Jermaine Ortiz, who was previously undefeated, wasn't given much of a chance against Loma. But he actually gave Loma a reasonable fight. It was not a good, particularly vintage performance by Lomachenko. But Lomachenko won over 12, unanimous decision. So where does all this leave us? Well, let's put it this way. Lomachenko, this is probably, because of the age he is, his last opportunity to win the undisputed title. And so he is going to be highly motivated. And the fact that he hasn't fought... actually, the Ortiz fight was... I was going to say he hadn't fought for a year, but no, the Ortiz fight was last year and around about October time. So yeah, he has fought, 7 months ago. But those periods in between fights, when you get to 35, there is the necessity for a cooling off period to let your body recover. It takes longer to recover. You can't have as many back-to-back wars as you could do when you're younger. It stands to reason. So I think the fact that since losing to Lopez, those 3 fights have been over a period of 2.5 years. That's not, it's not really, big activity, is it? It's not. You wouldn't call yourself an active fighter when you're doing that. But I think that might benefit Lomachenko. I think we might get to the point where or he may have got to the point in his career where he needs those breaks in order to let his body repair itself and replenish and so on. And he will be motivated for this fight. This is the undisputed lightweight title. That's what he wanted. And I think, to be honest with you, he won't be lacking in motivation. He will come in mentally prepared, physically prepared as best can be. Even though he is 35 and probably a little bit on the downside of his career, I don't think we'll see him come in with an injury like he did against Teofimo Lopez, where he did have a bit of a dodgy shoulder and he needed an operation on it afterwards. I don't think he'll take any chances this time. I think he will come in as physically prepared as he can be and highly mentally on it. Now, Haney, who is, again, judging by the size of them, standing side by side, I'd say he's about 4 inches taller, broader in the shoulders, 11 years younger. Haney, we know about Loma's style. It's it's not unique. Usyk does a lot of what Loma does, because Loma's dad, Papachenko, trains Usyk as well. But it's an unusual style and one that has worked for him again and again, and very few people can figure it out. And Haney, I think I've heard a few people say, well, you know, Lopez dealt with Lomachenko, so why can't Haney? Well, they're different fighters. It'd be quite foolish to say, oh, you know, the blueprint was laid by Lopez on how to beat Lomachenko. No, it wasn't. This is a different fighter, Haney. This is more, you know, Lopez is a come-forward, aggressive fighter, puts the heat on you, good power, and a lot more power than Haney anyway. Whereas Haney is more of a boxer. He is more someone he likes to be more technical, not as cavalier, a bit more cautious, but at the same time, you know, a highly intelligent guy, very mature for 24. I mean, in every respect. For Haney has proved himself, you know, going over to Australia twice and fighting Kambosos and beating him in his backyard twice, especially, you know, that's an achievement. But it's also, if you think back to what he had to do to get that title, he had to give everything to Kambosos. You can have location, you can have, you know, whatever you want. You know, I'll take whatever money you're offering. I'll even, you know, I'll leave my promoter, because he was with Eddie Hearn. He went, you know, he agreed to fight. I think it was the Top Rank. You know, whatever you want, you can have it. I just want to fight you because I know I'm going to beat you. And that shows an incredible amount of confidence. And I think now that he has beaten Kambosos twice, been over to Australia, got that fantastic experience, I think that his confidence is going to be bigger than ever, higher than ever. The one thing about being extremely confident is that you don't want to do is become too confident, because then complacency sets in. I don't think that will happen, because he's in the opposing corner is VASYL Lomachenko, and you got to be some kind of fool if you take Lomachenko for granted, if you think he might be past it. I mean, you can acknowledge that he may be slightly past his best, but you're an absolute imbecile if you don't prepare fully, mentally and physically, for this. So how will the fight go? I think Haney will want to. He'll probably have a look at Lomachenko. Though the first round, I don't expect much to go on at all. They're both going to be able to look at each other. Then maybe in the second round, Loma might start to get a little bit. He's got such beautiful footwork. Try to get closer. I don't think there'll be that battle for the range. I don't think Haney is going to allow that. I think he's not going to be scared to take a half a step back just to keep Loma on the end of those long levers. Loma, the smaller man, really just a super fella. He is ultimately, because of the dimensions, he's going to have to get close. I can see Haney boxing his way in quite a reserved. It's one of those fights where there isn't going to be a lot going on in the first 3 or 4 rounds, I would imagine, because they'll both be trying to sort of vie for the upper hand, controlling the range, wanting to counterpunch maybe. But I do think as the early rounds go on, Haney's jab will be a key to controlling Loma. What Loma has got to do, in my opinion, because he is in against a much bigger man, is he's got to concentrate on the body. So when let's say he does edge his footwork quick towards Haney, slips under the jab maybe, he's got to bang to the body. I would not headhunt at all in this fight for the first 4 or 5 rounds, maybe first half of the fight, 6 rounds. I think that would be a mistake. I think what Loma is going to have to do is he's going to have to somehow make Haney fight the type of untechnical fight that he doesn't want to fight. I think he's got to get close to Haney, ruffle him up a bit, show a bit of power, bang to the body. Okay, you're going to mix it up a bit, a few headshots, but you want Haney thinking, where's the next one coming from? I think Haney will be desperate to keep things technical, and I think Loma is going to have to use a bit of flash and dash, take a few chances to get in close, but when he does, he's really got to let his hands go quick and try to take away a lot of the composure from Devin Haney, because Haney is a guy who likes to stay composed. Now, there is a slight question mark, maybe half a question mark, above Haney in terms of the chin, because people often remember when he got clocked at the end of the 11th round against Jorge Linares, and he was on Queer Street, he was wobbling, and for the first 30 seconds, minute of the final round, he didn't look too healthy. He didn't look too good, even though he had the minute's rest, or the minute interval. When the fight restarted, he was still shaky, and that indicates that perhaps if you can hurt him, not necessarily to the head but to the body, what are his recuperative powers like? Maybe not that great. Maybe. I mean, I'm just speculating here, but I think that if Loma can get in there, and he's got to take chances. At some point, he's going to have to get past that jab, and that means being dead quick with your feet. And then when you get in close, really let your hands go. Does he have the power to hurt Haney with one punch? Maybe, maybe not. But I think once he gets close, Loma's got to let his hands go. And Haney he's not shy of letting his own punches go in bunches, but what he likes to do is if he's putting it on you, he then likes to go back to his boxing. Whereas Lomachenko likes to bewilder you. I mean, I'm thinking of the Nakatani fight where, they call it downloading information, don't they? Well, Lomachenko was doing that. And then from, later 6, 7, 8, 9, those rounds, he gradually turned the screw. And by getting a bit more cavalier and by letting his hands go, and using his feet to do those little semicircles, get the guy off balance, keep the guy off balance. That's another thing that Loma's going to have to do. By using the feet, he's going to have to try to keep Haney off balance. Although Haney's technically very good, pretty good with his feet, but he's not as quick as Loma. He has got good feet, Haney, but he's not as quick. So I see this being a chess match for 3 rounds, maybe, roughly. Not much going on, but at some point, I think Lomachenko, bearing in mind what happened to him against Lopez, won't start late. He will start much, much quicker. He's got to really. And he does not want Haney to get into any kind of rhythm. So I think probably from rounds maybe 4 onwards, he's going to have to get in close and, make Haney fight, or at least make Haney do things that he doesn't want to do, whether that's constantly keeping him off balance so he has to reset or not. He's got to show him things. He's got to show Haney things that he hasn't necessarily seen before, that are the specialities of Loma and Usyk, all those angles, all that slipping and sliding, all those the little semicircle footwork and all that, trying to keep the guy off balance and then attacking, body work. Don't forget, Loma knocked out Linares with a body punch. He can punch to the body well. And so anyway, which way is this going to go? I think, as I say, it will start quite a cagey fight for maybe 2 or 3 rounds. I then think that Lomachenko will start to try and edge forward. Haney will be trying to keep it more of a conventional orthodox type of fight. Of course, the one thing I haven't mentioned is that Lomachenko, of course, is a southpaw, as you probably know. Devin Haney's orthodox, so there is that as well. I haven't talked about that, but there's that to factor in as well, which could keep Devin Haney off balance make him second guess, make him constantly try to reset. Lomachenko is I mean, I know he's a southpaw, but he's a highly unconventional southpaw as well. So he's probably got the ability, even though he is a much smaller man, to keep Haney guessing. And that's what he's got to do. Don't let Haney get into any kind of rhythm. But I think the early rounds will be, first 2 or 3 will be cagey. From the 4th round, I think Lomachenko will start to get closer, start to take a few more chances, start to try and unruffle and unnerve Haney a little bit. Haney will try to keep his composure. I think it wouldn't surprise me at all if after 6 rounds it was more or less even. You know, say 3 each probably. I think Lomachenko will probably, from around about 7 and 8, Lomachenko will try to get closer, try to turn the screw. But I think those middle rounds, I think, are the danger point for Haney. I really do. Because I think if he comes through those and he manages to set any kind of rhythm going, I think he'll be able to take over in the last third of the fight, you know, so 9, 10, 11, 12, and hang on to win a decision. So my prediction is he's going to ride out a few hairy moments in rounds 6, 7, 8, and then probably keep it going down the stretch, regain his composure, regain his boxing acumen, and I see this being a sort of 115, 113 fight to Devin Haney. I think size does matter as well. I think, even though he's only 24, of course, I'm presuming Haney makes the weight if he sensibly and maintains his strength. If he struggles to make the weight, it could be Loma's night. But I'm going to presume he makes the weight okay, and I think I can see him winning a close decision, like I say, 113, 115, 113, 7 rounds to 5. So that's my prediction. Please leave yours below. You may agree, you may disagree. Do you think there'll be a knockout? It wouldn't entirely surprise me if there was a knockdown on either from either guy. That wouldn't surprise me at all. But if Loma's going to win, I really think bodywork is what he needs to do, and bodywork early on, and then in those rounds 6, 7, 8, those middle rounds, switching it up to the head, you know, body to head, head to body, both sides. But I think Haney will survive any kind of storm, any kind of obstacles. He'll have questions asked of him because Loma is such a brilliant individual, a unique talent really. But I think he'll hang on to win a close decision. That's my opinion. Leave your predictions below and tell me why you think so and so is going to win, whichever you're picking. And yeah, as always, thank you for listening in, and like the video if you liked it, and please subscribe to the channel if you're new. That would help us massively. It's going to be a good one, I think. It's going to be one of those slow burning ones to start with. It's not going to be that great, and then I think it'll pick up in the middle rounds, and then there might be a crescendo at the end, but it's going to be tense early on. You know, hey, what do I know? Leave your comments below. Subscribe, like the button, hit the like button. Cheers as always. We'll speak again soon. Bye for now.